We got Satisfye, myself, Philip Satisfye, and we have two from the Limit Labs team here. We've got Matt and we've got Jake, both amazing engineers in their own right. And yeah, what else should we do?
Yeah, I mean, we could talk a little bit about, I guess, yeah, I'm an electrical engineer on the team, in addition to kind of wearing every other hat that the team needs. I've been like the social media guy for a little bit, and if you went to any of the events that we've been at, I've been the booth guy. So, but yeah, just getting Glyph ready, getting all the electrical stuff handed out, and then working with Matt on mechanical stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm Matt. I'm the mechanical guy. I've been kind of project lead as well on this, and just really hats off to Jake really for handling all of the odd jobs lately, for sure. But I'm the one who's finishing up the CAD design, finishing up getting everything ready for manufacturing, and just really excited to get this thing out the door and get it into people's hands.
Yeah, for sure. Right.
Yeah, I think a good question, Phil, because I don't even know if I really know this. How did you hear about us, like, fully initially?
Okay. So I was looking at going down I was looking into a new product, and that led me to who was it?
Shank, right?
Yes, it was. But I think first it started with Bob, and then it went to Shank, and then Shank was like, I'm just a tinkerer. Like, you really need to talk to this guy, Matt. He is like 10 times better than I am. And so I said, okay, cool. So he connected us, and then I reached out to Matt, and Matt sent me down this super giant rabbit hole that sounded like just this gaping black hole that I didn't want to go down. But then was like, but hey, we have this idea for this other project. Are you interested in working with us on that? And I was like, oh yeah, tell me more. So that's kind of how that whole thing started.
Yeah. I remember talking to Shank about some of that stuff. Yeah, where it's like, and because we had already just kind of been workshopping and tooling around with Glyph. It existed in an infant state at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool to like get someone else who has like such a huge focus on like mechanical expertise, right? Like for your stuff, like your grips and your cases and all, like the stuff that you make is like top of the line good stuff. So I think that was really where like when Matt brought you to us, it's like, oh, okay, like this is the right kind of person. This is stuff we should be doing.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, one because I'd used Satisfye products before, but also because like having used them, the attention to ergonomics was really key and really shown, and that's a big thing that comes through with Glyph, is that we're focusing on hand health, on allowing you to make it work well for you, and I think Satisfye products already really demonstrated that. So that was a really cool way to know that you'd be a right fit for this.
Yeah, for sure. I really think it's kind of a little match made in heaven there. It was, you guys had the vision of really, really premium, top quality for the Glyph, and that was what my vision has been from the beginning, and what we'd already been doing, and so we were really, really in alignment there. At not really being cutting corners was just not in our DNA.
Exactly. I'd rather take a little bit more time if need be to make sure it's right.
Yep.
It could cause issues for people down the line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's happened way too many times to me in industry. I'm just like, if you just waited a week or two, or a month or something, it would have been so much better. But it's just pushed out. But yeah, no, I guess that's really how it all started. Looks like we lost Jake.
Yeah, Jake said he's coming back. I don't know where he went, but he's coming back for sure. Fallen Existence. Glad that you're looking forward to this controller. We could open it up now. We kind of have a little bit of a loose agenda to follow. So if you guys want us to just follow our agenda, we can do that for anybody in the chat. Or if you guys want to start throwing out questions, you can throw out questions, and we're really here to answer questions for you guys. And to try to support the community that's been building up for this. So yeah, if you've got questions, now is your time.
Absolutely. And
I'm going to say maybe we just hop in then. If
Absolutely.
nobody has any questions. Oh, hey, Jake's back.
Hey.
I had to swap. I'm using a DSLR for a camera. I had to swap the battery.
Okay, first question here. Fallen Existence. Is the Wing Commander the only way to connect to PlayStation?
That's a good question. So I'll take this one. So Sony and Microsoft are very specific about the things that they like connecting to their consoles. Nintendo kind of is too, but someone cracked open their source code and they haven't seemed annoyed about anyone using it. So okay, but so there's a few different ways to connect to a Sony console or to a Microsoft console, but none of those ways are like approved by the company. So basically, we don't want to. There's things we could be doing, but we don't want to kind of go against their wishes because it creates a situation where later our technology might be locked out of those consoles like entirely if they just decide like, hey, we don't like what you're doing. I think there's a world it opens this up for legal issues, but like not really. It's just we don't want to anger them at the moment. So at the moment, yes, the only way we can connect to Sony and Microsoft consoles is through an adapter, but we are currently barking up trees to try and see if we can get it licensed and get it fully working on one of the consoles because we'd love to do that. It's just it's a question of like as talking to some of the guys, like we were talking to one of the guys from Gaming Generations who provides a lot of the content or a lot of the stuff for like Evo and bigger tournaments like that, where he was talking about there's only like 2 companies providing like direct supported PS5 controllers right now. And no one really knows why or what they're doing. They're a little secretive with that, so it sucks for right now. It's not ideal, but we are definitely looking into kind of fixing that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to just touch on that a little bit too, that just for the possibility of building it out in the future. Like there is a chance or a world where we get the okay and get green lighted to have basically built-in control and built-in functionality with a PS5 or an Xbox. And in that situation, we've designed the hardware at least so that there are the 2 expansion bays, and I decide that we could make an expansion bay that allows some sort of functionality with either of those consoles as well. So
there's room for growth.
Yeah, we're trying to leave
even
it
after
as
the fact.
possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
then we have I think I just want to throw this out. I believe it's, I mean, if you had to pick one, because usually when you get a license deal with one of these, you're not both. This is an all-in PlayStation or it's an all-in Xbox, really, and I think PlayStation, as far as I can tell, is the place where most people are playing.
Especially
fighting games.
Fighting games specific. I mean, Sony bought Evo, right? So they kind of bought the generation,
Yeah. Okay, so K Danger, how would you describe the feel of the buttons? I really like the Frame 1 buttons and Sam Duxa crowns. I might have said that wrong. For example, not a big fan of Sanwa.
So I guess the first question that I have in response to that is, are you talking about the actual keycap, like the button cap that goes on top of the key, or the
button press?
The press, like the actual switches.
I think to speak to both to an extent, right? I think if we're talking about like the biggest difference between the Sam Duxa are the crowns are it's kind of like a modification of a traditional Sanwa arcade button that allows for the key switch to be in there. So we use the key switches, just mechanical key switches like any other keyboard. And the intent is for the initial drop of keycaps is to be PBT double shot. So so as close, basically as close to kind of like the keyboard cap feel as we can get, because I think that it provides a really smooth texture that isn't gonna like hold on to your hands. You can slide off super nice. I really like the way they feel. But what we have right now is our I've actually been kind of falling in love with our resin printed caps. They're like, I like them a lot. They're like kind of.
They're really
soft.
nice. They're super
they have
nice.
a good texture. They have a really good.
They have a really nice textural feel. So yeah, like if there is demand for it, I'm super down to kind of go buck wild with the materials and the textures, because once we have the tooling done for everything, it'll be super easy to go kind of wacky with it.
Yeah, and what's nice about the tooling for these keycaps is that it is small, especially for a single part. So you could, assuming demand, release a slightly different version of these that have different textures or that have a slightly different concavity or convexity, depending on what you want.
Yeah.
Really, the sky's the limit, especially because we're just using an MX connection.
Oh yeah. And secondarily, we're using the same Gatoron Pro Silvers that the second round of the frame ones are using. So it's industry standard at this point, because like everyone kind of used the linears. There was like a little more wiggle room before they released the Pro Silvers. Are like, they come pre-lubed, so you don't have to take them apart, you don't have to do anything to them. They feel great immediately, and thankfully for us, they're pretty cheap. But I especially with some of the other wackier stuff, like if you all go to our Twitter, or I think I might have put it on the TikTok, I can't remember, but for the WASD buttons, because I'm super down to get insane with the keycaps, and that's part of open sourcing, right? It's just like allowing people a platform to like do silly things that maybe even we didn't think of, and we go, actually, that's a really good idea.
Yep. Yeah, and I can totally see us offering multiple different keycap options.
Oh, for sure.
Let alone colors.
It's really endless, the customization.
Should I grab the WASD buttons?
You could grab the WASD buttons and show them off. We haven't actually, there's just that short video is the only thing we have of them.
I can go grab it real quick if you guys want to chat.
Yeah, grab it.
Cool. Yeah, we'll hang out.
That's why we're here. And keep the questions coming, because they are great. And we need more.
Yeah, it's been interesting kind of showing this off, because I think part of the fun I've had going to these events is kind of just like getting people used to, because it's strange, right? When people see it at first, the very first thing you see is like, oh man, that's a lot of buttons. What am I to do with all of the buttons? But like, it's once like I'm able to show people, and once people are able to feel it, they really get to that like, what is the updated?
Oh, that's a great question.
That is a good question. We should get into that. So actually, the timeline is getting a little more secure. So yeah, let's talk about the input viewer generally. Because so the input viewer was a result of our initial testing. Because what we found is that like, we're engineers. So when we built it, we knew what it did, and we were like, yes, everyone will read the manual. And it turns out not many people read the manual. So so we kind of agreed with, especially Leffen gave us like, he liked the unit, and he liked using it, but he was right. The first, right when you open it up, it's just this big,
it's overwhelming
slab. Yeah, there's so many buttons, and it's like, what mode am I in? What am I plugging it into? What am I supposed to do with this?
There's nothing that tells you what to do.
Exactly.
If you don't read the directions.
But so the thing that we worked out is that like, oh hey, we have enough space here for a screen, and it was something we were playing with before even. It was something that we had started playing with back in like probably like August, where it's
Yeah.
like, this is a cool idea. It'll take a while to develop, so let's get there. I think we can get there with just like the simplicity of.
Why don't we briefly explain for anybody new or for anybody who's unfamiliar with what we're talking about? Like,
Oh yeah, sure.
what is, how does it work today? How would you interact with the controller today as the prototype is now, and the way that we advertised it in the Kickstarter and on at satisfy.com? And then what is changing about that?
Yeah. So to start, Jake has one too.
We're all set.
But when you just open it up, ignore the WASD buttons that I just put on this. It would just be a bunch of white buttons here. And the way that we advertise to you being able to switch modes or do anything is you'd have this menu button that you'd press and hold in addition to one of these other menu buttons on the top at the same time, and that would switch what mode you're in, and all the LEDs will light up to show you which buttons are active, basically. However, you wouldn't know, unless you know specifically what mode you've pre-programmed, you don't know if this is for N64, if this is for Super Nintendo, or like what each button specifically does. It requires a lot of thought beforehand and a lot of setup beforehand to actually know what it is out of the box, unless you've used these a lot before. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, but is there more to that out of the box?
No, not really. Yeah, it's basically it. It was depending on like changing your modes between the different consoles, all of the different input modes, right? Because on one console you could have multiple different input modes depending on what you're doing. So
depending on like what game you wanted to play, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So depending on your setup, so if you had the all button configuration, which Matt you have there, and you wanted to use that same all button layout rather than doing the customized way where you're going to pull off the plate and you're going to hard move all the buttons to the way that you want them. You could just do it more within the software or firmware, whichever the right word is for that.
Yeah.
And you're going to change the layout that way on the fly. So you could be playing Nintendo Switch and then go from Smash to I don't know, whatever, Mortal Kombat or something, right?
Yeah. Anything. Yeah.
Yep.
And what we've found is that it's difficult remembering all of the different intricacies, especially once people are gonna start bouncing around, where it's like, oh, I have these 5 modes for Switch that I like, but I also have these 5 different modes for PC that I like, and I have this X and Y and Z, and it's like, because there's so
many variables.
Yeah, there's so many variables. We found that like the more we looked into it, the more the screen started to make sense. And
if user needed some sort of feedback and some sort of
visual display of where am I, what mode am I in, what console am I on, and what am I changing to?
Yeah, and if you want to pull up those mechanical progress pics that we have.
Yeah, sure. So let me grab some of those right now. So
yeah, so we actually have initial renders of kind of the mechanicals, and we have the final.
Yep.
We have the final protos of the electricals. Right
Which
now.
one do you want me to bring up first? Is that so I've got the collapse view, location, rear view.
I'd say the collapse. Actually, well, location maybe just to show where it's going to go, so people can.
Right. Okay, so that's the rear. We don't want to. Let me do the front then, not the rear. That's
the front one.
Way to start.
I could always
there we go.
It'll be nicer. That's the rear and the back.
Yeah.
Here it is.
So the main thing that's changing is that now all of these buttons on the top left, that used to be your mode select, now can control the screen. When you press the big light up button, the one on the top left, it'll put you into menu mode for the screen, and then there'll be different menus that we've started working on doing with that'll allow you to change the mode you're in, change over to change like your USB mode, change all of these different settings that are within the unit. And because it's on a screen where like you can see exactly what is happening, you can always know, okay, I am in X input mode on my PC and I'm playing in my FGC mode or something, right? And and it's just a little screen guy there. We have a bunch of ideas for what we can do with it, but before we get it fully prototyped and like fully fleshed out, actually today we made our order for prototype for the final prototypes of the new PCB. So once we get those in, we'll be able to do testing on the placement and on the utilization of the screen. So we're chugging along pretty good.
I do want to talk real quick a little bit more about the usability of the screen itself and the user interface of it, because that actually, we put a lot of thought into that, because the user interface on this thing with all these buttons without labels is so important. So as Jake was saying, you press the big menu button that lights up to go into the menu mode to control the screen. One thing that we're working on is actually having the bottom of the screen display what each menu button does. So it'll tell you if you're moving up, down, left, or right, enter, back, as you're controlling the screen by itself. And then when you press the menu button again, it exits out of that and just goes into your standard dashboard that displays what modes you're in, like what USB mode you're in, what sort of profile you've loaded, as well as it could show you, hey, let's say I turned this on and I'm pressing this button, but I don't, let's say this one, and I don't remember what I have it mapped to. It can just show every time you press a button, like what the actual input is from the controller. Yeah. So those are just some things that we're messing around with, but that the focus on usability is something that's really important to us, and we want to make sure we nail.
And
here, I'm gonna bring this up. Let me bring up a screen share real quick. Hold on.
We have a few of our very initial mock-ups that I made with help from Crane on some of the so if you scroll down to dashboard there.
Yep.
We can see that. Yeah, perfect. So we can see that, like, so that's your initial, that's like in the base state, the idea is that's what shows on your controller. So it's showing what the current function of your 7 menu buttons are. So then you don't even need to remember what your 7 menu buttons are. It will constantly show you what they're doing, right? So in this main state, the far left is your menu. Then it's start, back, home. Capped is capture in Switch and a few other like for on PS4 and some of the other structures, they have like the share button or what have you. And then L3 and R3 are also mappable up there if you like. So then when you press menu, we get to scroll down, get to the menu, which is like really just like it's just a menu, right? It shows, and you can see on the bottom there again, all of these buttons functions have now changed, where you can go down and up, you can go left and right, you can select, you can go back, you can also exit out of the menu to go back to playing.
Right.
And additionally, all of this, ideally, we got to work out a little bit of the software to make sure, but ideally all of these are going to be mappable too. So like, say you don't want the menu button to be the big shiny button, you want that button to be the start button because it's fun to press, then you should be able to change that. Should is almost definitely will be able to change that. We're working on the software currently. But yeah, then additionally you can do stuff like input mapping, which we have working thanks to, let me double check because I don't want to, I forget the distro.
It should be in the comment section on that update, actually.
Yeah, here. If I just go to our page really quick, I can find it. Adam with a 6, so 6DAM was the initial. He initially got the input viewer working on the OLED screen that we were just kind of using to test. I don't know. We may be using it for the full release. It's something that we're still working on. But for this initial mock-up, it was really cool to use. And he's a part of Crane's Discord, Crane's community, which is really cool to be able to share with some of the other creators in the space, which is really cool. Yeah.
But that's like just a big part of what this program is. That's what we want to be doing, is working with the community.
Yeah.
What is this? Please help me. My glyph is gone.
Shut up, Josh. Yeah. So,
let's talk about the progress of the input viewer now.
Yeah.
So what progress have we made? Obviously, we've got the prototype working, hardware wise, structural, I guess, wise, and then software.
Sweet. Well, where do we want to start? Hardware?
Yeah. So I think hardware is pretty solidified. So that is the actual prototype of the screen that will be going into the actual unit.
We've used a little quick connect here to go to the unit and found a way to custom make this we designed this PCB so that it would fit well inside the Glyph, which, despite being as large as it is, the PCB is it's pretty packed in that area where we've put it. So finding a place to get it to fit together nicely is a little bit difficult, but also the way that we actually mount it is really important when you're dealing with the screen. You want to make sure that it's as close to the top as possible, but also protected and gasket sealed and physically just structurally sound. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not as simple as just like buying an OLED off Amazon and slapping it in there. You could do that, but it wouldn't be the best.
Yeah, and additionally, because it's directly supported by us, it will be we have like a screen protector, I guess. It goes over the screen so that it's going to be something that, like, even if you're whacking the top of the unit or something, you're not going to be pressing on a screen, right? So like it should be quite robust. But yeah, I'm really excited for the screen. I think that it's going to really open up the possibilities of what we can and cannot do. Like, we're working on, like, we technically already have animation working because of the input viewer. So like getting little animations running is not something that we're planning on having done for when it releases, but like you can start to see the possibilities of, like,
it opens up a lot of doors.
Wacky stuff that the community can do, right?
Yep. We have another question. Is that one fully answered?
I think so. Yeah, I think we answered. Talk about the progress of the input viewer.
Yep.
Also,
okay.
We'll go to timeline after I answer. Will there be a Linux Dolphin profile on Slippy for the Glyph? So we're branching Haybox, so I believe it should work with the Linux profile for Haybox right now. But that's something that we'll have to look into. That'll probably be, if it is not something that is fully supported on release, that's something that we'll look into. Because it shouldn't be that bad.
Making a profile shouldn't be that difficult.
You have to get a little wacky sometimes just because of the Linux aspect of it. So you have to play with it a little bit. Again, this is one of those that it should work. Big should. Like 90-ish% should, but like, we'll figure it out.
Yep. These are all great questions. You guys have brought a lot of really good questions, many of which were not even on the agenda. So keep them coming, everybody. If you've got more questions, bring them in.
Yeah, I guess then the next question is, timeline is still a little nebulous. Just because, so the screen pushed us back a teeny bit just in terms of getting certification, but it was kind of looking like we were going to get pushed back anyways, just because of Chinese New Year is huge for manufacturing. And we're a smaller manufacturer. It's difficult to get into those. What happens is that everyone gets into the queues before Chinese New Year, and then immediately after Chinese New Year, Ford gets to produce their boards first, and then everybody else gets to produce their boards, right? Yep. So it becomes a situation where you just kind of lose 3 weeks, not on anyone's fault, just because China turns off for like a month.
So what our goal with that is to have the hardware finalized for certification during Chinese New Year, so that right when there's an opening for us to have certification done, it can be done. And depending on our results from that, hopefully everything just passes with flying colors. It's possible that there's a change or two that they require to be certified. But once we have finalized and gone through certification for SEC and CE, then we'll be able to start tooling on everything. We wouldn't want to start tooling beforehand, because if we do have to make a change for certification, it could technically affect like some of the plastic location on the Glyph, and then we'd have to adjust the tooling, and that could delay things actually further and cost a bunch more
Yeah, it
money.
makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
we have two more good questions. Great answer there. Crane and Fallen. Let's. I don't know which ones.
Crane's answering a question.
Oh, okay.
There,
Crane answered. Okay, great. So, is there any plans for a promotional push before final release, like a fighting game tournament? Well, it just so happens, yes, there is.
Yeah. I guess we can announce this here, but yeah, we'll be at Genesis. Come check us out.
We'll be at Genesis next month, and we will be at a few more places, right?
Yeah, we haven't fully confirmed yet on a lot of the other ones. The ones we're looking at is like Combo Breaker. We're looking at Evo. We're looking at a few Smash tournaments, a few Smash regionals that I might just be at on my own. But we will have a full booth at Genesis where anyone can come by, hang out.
We'll have some prototypes. You can play with them.
Yeah, and additionally, we'll have a bunch of Satisfye stuff there too, so you can touch their nice. Because man, oh my god. Yeah, like I was like, oh, this stuff is kind of cool, and then I touched your the cases is what really sold me. Those cases are insane.
Yeah,
which is also
are stupid high quality.
That's coming to us too.
It's great.
The brand new Glyph cases. Yeah.
So we did make some. I'm just going to jump in here on this. I'm really excited about it. We made some modifications on the Glyph case, and I'm pretty.
It's still not final yet, but we're getting much closer to final.
Absolutely, much closer. One, we made it so that we could fit more top plates and art in this flap on the center. And the big thing that we actually worked on, though, was making it so that you could store your cables however you want to, and in a way that actually doesn't damage your cables. Typically, cables should actually be wrapped in a circle, and they're crimped usually and flat when you put them into something that's like a Velcro tab. And that's bad for them, and two, like, you can only fit so many in here. So what we did was we designed kind of like a hiking backpack mesh. I'm not sure how well you can see it here.
Yeah, it's coming through.
Store cables and slide them in here wherever you want. So you can kind of fit as much as you want in there. Pretty excited about that. But it just feels good. This is like velvety. It's nice.
Yeah, it's an extremely high quality, also extremely expensive case to manufacture, but it'll be well worth it. It's really dope. And honestly, even if you didn't get the the Elite bundle with the case, even just the folio that everything's coming with, which the Elite bundle also comes with this thing is super dope too. Like, I love this thing. This is like such a grab and go kind of case.
Yeah.
We got another question here. I know this is about the Glyph, which is cool, but will there ever be a way to just order a front cover alone for the... Okay. I did a pre-order for the case and I didn't see the front cover option. Definitely ordering a Glyph.
You got him live.
I don't like selling things standalone, especially like cases or like a top cover of a case. It's usually a lose-lose situation for me. It's usually one of the reasons why we typically don't sell standalone cases. If we do, we usually do them in like batches. I'm down to do it in a batch if we have enough demand and people do want one. Yeah, I am open to that. And I realize it does suck. And I've actually even considered not even just dropping the standalone completely and only offering it in a bundle. So I think we're going to do a customer survey on that before we do that. But yeah, I don't know. The answer is I don't know. Maybe.
Come to the booth at Genesis and give us $1,000.
Yeah,
it'll happen.
You know what we could do though? I do have a few extras that we could do a giveaway on. And that doesn't really help everybody, but it'll help a couple people.
Just win the giveaway. Yeah.
Good question. Good question. It's a question I see a lot, especially on our ads in Facebook. I see a ton of that.
Do we want to grab? We had a few questions on Twitter. I had about 5.
Yeah, let's jump into those.
Yeah, I had about 5 people ask me if they can have one, which is no. You have to purchase it with human.
Fair.
Definitely not this product, especially.
Yeah. And then, so the first question is from Tristan G on Twitter. He asked how much of the Glyph will be open source. Further asking, example, will the CAD be open source? I guess the CAD is a question for Matt.
There are. I want to open source as much as we possibly can on this. We'll definitely be open sourcing the keycaps. We'll be open sourcing the CAD for the expansion bays so that you can design your own and know how everything fits together. I believe we discussed possibly open sourcing the IO bay as well. Oh geez, that's another big thing that we've been working on that we haven't talked about yet. Just thinking about it, the strain relief cable, but that's an announcement for later day. We'll be open sourcing also the layouts and the files for like art inserts and for the top plates. I don't know if it would be a problem to open source the support panel or not, but that's something we'd have to go back and discuss because it's not something that like people could easily make themselves, if that makes sense, because there are 6 molded in magnets, there are over 20 molded and threaded inserts, and it's also quite large in general, but it's something that we actually need to discuss and finalize if we're going to do that.
Yeah, I think we're going to open source basically everything. Other than the actual PCB files.
Yeah.
Within reason, right?
Within reason. Like
whatever enables the community to build upon and grow and create or do things in creative ways, like that will be available. And then there's some stuff that just like there would really be no point, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and anything we don't open source that you might need, right? Like if we didn't open source the say the support panel, we would provide a CAD file of like this is where the openings are, right? So you don't have to go and like
reverse engineer it.
Right?
We'd give you whatever you need and have like all the mounting points we'll provide you at the very least, but it's possible that we might be able to give the whole thing. It's a very good question and one that we need to think
consider
strongly about.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few things that are low hanging fruit, but we just gotta check in with everyone. Also, like there's a question of safety with a lot of the other stuff that we're doing, where it's like if we open source this and someone does a bad job of making it, can they hurt themselves? And do we feel bad about that? Which would be yes, I would feel bad about that. So like that's where some of the electrical stuff comes in, where it's like I don't know how comfortable I am releasing everything, just because like if someone burns their house down, I want that to be their fault, you know?
yeah for sure.
But with the electrical stuff, we're definitely going to be open sourcing and providing like what the connections on all the expansion bays are and like how to tap into this device, so that it's kind of like so that you can do whatever you want.
It's plug and play.
Jake, I think you know the list probably better than I do of the actual types of connection protocols that
sure.
available.
Actually, we we put Crane into the mines for a sec on that one because we updated the X packs so that they both have. I believe this is correct, Crane. Correct me if I'm wrong, but now they both should have UART I2C and oh god, I'm missing my last word. It's the fast one with all the pins.
SPI?
Yeah, SPI. There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, you actually do know. But so they'll have and it'll also have power. Yeah.
Yep, and he confirms can do it at the same time.
He had a lot of fun routing that. It It was a bit of a rat's nest for a sec there. But yeah, so we'll be providing the full pinout on that, so everything will be nice and easy. That when you connect your cables, you will know exactly which pins go to which. But yeah, because like we want it to be as plug and play as possible.
Thanks for joining us.
For sure, yeah. Thanks for joining.
We had a couple questions in Discord.
Sure.
Monev posted actually quite a few. So first, will the customization software be demoed? So we don't currently have a demo of the software, right?
No.
Michelle?
So the customization software is incoming. So that's something that we are going to dive much further into, because once we submit the mechanicals and the electricals for certification, there's kind of a dead period there. So we're going to dive much deeper into the software during that time, because we also don't want to commit to parts of the software before we know exactly what the electrical and the mechanical looks like, because then it's like, okay, well, maybe because of certain certifications we need to change the screen size, we need to, like, there's things that happen that need to change, and if we were to finalize any of the software stuff, then it's just work that was pointless.
As far as a demo goes on that too, a lot of the time the user interface gets done towards the end of the development of the software, but we're definitely open for input, and we're listening. Clearly we heard the Glyph was confusing for some people when testing it out of the box, and we decided to we listened to that and decided to add the screen and everything. So we really want to take your input seriously.
Yeah, we'll continue to do that for sure throughout this whole process to really make the most amazing product we can, and everybody's feedback is super helpful. So we really appreciate this. So some more questions. One more on software. Are software customizations, lighting, button configs stored locally on the controller?
Yes, they will be.
Good. That was easy. Is there a tournament mode to disable start, pause, PlayStation button presses, things like that?
That's interesting. Maybe. It's not something we considered, but it wouldn't be that hard. I'm not going to commit to it, but it's something that is interesting that I will take into account when developing the software. Yeah.
Okay. And Crane came in and said definitely can add it.
Yeah, that could just be a custom profile as well.
Yep. You can make it as a custom profile where you just don't map start.
Yeah,
exactly. But we do have something we have thought about was is like a tournament legal mode. Something that wouldn't, I don't know, it would just be legal on tournament.
That's something I don't super love commenting about like tournament legality, and like I'm a TO, I'm a tournament organizer as well. So like whatever the standard is, we will follow. Like I don't have a super heavy opinion about like what nerfs are good and what nerfs are bad. It's just like whatever the community decides and whatever the standard rule set, like whatever Genesis and Evo run, we'll follow.
Yep. Next question is, does it handle macros? If yes, can macros be set on the fly or require the customization software? Do you have to go through the customization software to do them? If the answer is yes.
Macros are a touchy subject, because this isn't, like we were just talking about, this is something that a lot of people are going to be looking at using in tournament. And as soon as you start talking about macros in tournament, it gets a little spicy.
So let's say you're not playing in tournament, but you're playing online.
That's another question, right? It's like, do we want to support that? I think I will speak right now that on initial release, we will not have direct support for macros, but it's something that we are open to looking at later, just because of the additional complexity of what macros mean, right? Because it's like, we will have to make additional, every time you add a macro, that's another edge case. And it's like, if I press this button and it presses 3 buttons all at once, what does a Super Nintendo think about that, right? Like, we have to think about every single time we add one feature, does that feature translate to the 9 consoles that this thing is going to work on, right? So it's like, it's not part of the roadmap currently, but it's something that we have been talking about. It's something that
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. We'll put it that way.
That's a good answer. And then last question from Discord is, will there be a black version or any other colors?
I mean, maybe.
Really?
Yeah, if y'all buy enough.
Yeah. Right.
I think the whole point of it is to be customizable. So, I mean, Philip, right now you have a technically different colored middle plate on yours.
I do. Yeah, mine is my middle plate is. I mean, really, there's so much customization to this thing. I mean, yeah, mine's a gray middle plate with a white back, but this could be any color back, any color top plate, any color. I mean, this is customizable right out the gate, right? So arts, that's an easy customization for color changes.
Ooh,
buttons, easy customization.
Oh, and the grips also.
And the grip pads, yep.
Yeah.
And the pads on the back,
Matt,
which you can't see mine because they're white, but yeah.
Go get the blue one. Do we want to show the blue one?
Oh yeah,
the anodized one.
Yeah, the anodized blue one.
That is at Crane's house.
Oh, is it at Crane's house?
Can't show it.
Never mind.
He's got the blue one. Can't show it. Yeah, to answer that question though, yes. There's, I mean, we made it so that there would be lots of color customizations. And how we introduce those customizations, how we go about those, that is still undetermined. But for sure.
But yeah, and I mean, like,
the more demand, the more we can do.
Yeah, the more demand, the more we can do. Maybe we bulk, we do bulk pre-orders to build up enough, a big enough pool of people who want it. But it just depends on the part as well.
Yeah, and that branches into another question we got that we've just been getting on and off from a bunch of different people over time is, how do I get the art sheets? So we will be partnering with a company that you'll be able to send in an image to their website. They will print it. They will ship it to you. They'll be a little more expensive, but they'll be a little more premium than just like a printing.
It's not a piece of paper. It's not even a piece of cardboard.
Yeah, they're so nice. A big thing for us was making sure that the art is water resistant to an extent. Like, you can't dunk it in water, but like if you spill on it, I've had a ton of people when I go to tournaments where they have these super nice art on their controller, and they spill a teeny bit of water, a teeny bit of soda on it. The controller doesn't die, but then the art crinkles up and it's horrible because it's just a sheet of paper. And then you got to unscrew the whole thing, take it all apart, and that was like a big frustration that we were trying to fix with the top plates. But in addition, we made it so that if you do spill on it and you don't ruin it, your art plate almost certainly should be fine as well. So it's like, it's a big part for us to like give you like fully premium parts. But then if you don't care and you want to print at Kinko's or something, we'll also provide Photoshop files, or it might be a CAD.
You could do it at home if you wanted to. You could paint them yourselves. The cool thing is too, from the printer though, it's ultra high quality. I mean, you could do foiling, you could do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, the foil is really cool. I didn't actually think I would like the foil that much, because usually I'm not a gold leaf kind of guy. But oh my god, the Founders editions look insane.
They do. They look killer. It really gives it a premium look for sure. And even when you just do foiling in just a couple like spot places, it like really makes it pop. Yes, the Blazing Jace, the stream will be uploaded to our YouTube channel after this stream for sure, 100%. I don't know if we'll chop it down or not. I mean, I could edit it down, but
we'll probably do a little bit of both. I mean, I think a lot of this will show up in different forms in different places. We'll chop it up, and then we'll probably just do a full raw upload somewhere. Yeah.
At the very least, this will be re-uploaded probably tomorrow on the YouTube channel, the Satisfye YouTube channel, Satisfye Gaming.
Okay. I'll grab another Twitter question. So we had any ideas on how to use the expansion port from Manifesto on Twitter? Yeah, I mean, we've already shown off I think 2, right? We've shown
we've shown off a nunchuck version. What's the other one that we've shown off?
Why don't you talk about the nunchuck version?
Oh yeah, so
for everybody who maybe doesn't even know what the nunchuck is.
Yeah, imagine go slide to the right.
I think most people can know what it is, but just in case.
But yeah, it's literally just an expansion port with a nunchuck on it.
Yeah, so like a Wii controller, a Wiimote has the nunchuck that plugs into the Wiimote. You can plug in a nunchuck to the expansion port. Basically, here's just a little prototype that we've worked on, but that allows you to use analog joystick with it, so that really can open up possibilities. That's another big thing with the expansion pack that you can do is you add more inputs. You could also redesign the CAD to grip around to like have a more comfortable hand grip for a joystick or some other buttons, or I don't know, a gyroscope if you're a madman. Whatever you really want.
Play monkey ball. Yeah, I think because like we were also looking at just like a USB port or just like a general utility expansion port where it just has like you can kind of do a breakout. I'm considering doing like a headphone jack and a whole bunch of other stuff, just like basically everything you'll see on a PC. I'm considering making one of those just for myself, just to do wacky stuff. Because like it really is like the whole point of it is to basically be, it's like an engineer's USB port, right? Where you have direct access to the main control unit of the device. So you really get really, since the software is fully open source, the sky is the limit. Like anyone can do anything. But yeah, for right now we're looking at the nunchuck as like possibility. Maybe if there's enough demand.
It's based on demand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever there's enough demand for it, we'll make whatever you guys want, really. And I think throughout the whole process too, even after like post-production, we're still going to be putting our ideas out there, doing live events and connecting with the community and showing off some new cool things that we've come up with, and really just try to like nurture and build upon that with the community together.
Yeah, I actually had a really good experience, community experience, doing booth work at Big House, where I talked to a bunch of the guys at the Rectangle Corner, like Rana and Austin and a few of the other guys that were there, where we all kind of just like, we were a bunch of like similar nerds in the same booth. So we kind of spent all weekend just being like, oh, you could do this and you could do that, and you're already doing this and you're already doing that. So like, yeah, and like you see if you go to Rana's Twitter or seen it online, like he made his own keycaps. He's producing his own keycaps that turn out to work for the Glyph as well. So like, yeah, people are already making stuff for the Glyph that are already making stuff for the Glyph, even though it's not even available yet.
That's really what we want, which is super dope.
Yeah.
Oh my, okay.
That's a bot, yeah.
Kill the bot. And goodbye.
But yeah, it's like, I really like the nunchuck. It's like, I think that was like the super low hanging fruit of like, people have done this already. It was done initially on the box. I think the Smash box has it as well. It might. I don't recall. But yeah, it's like, yeah, just kind of do whatever wacky stuff you want. I think Rana's working on their own joystick that they've already talked about. As soon as they get theirs, they're gonna like, I'm putting this on here. So yeah, it's some cool stuff.
Keep the questions coming. Jake, do you have any other questions from Twitter?
I think this was lightly touched on. Manifesto also asked if the Glyph will ship with any game-specific nerfs. It'll ship with the most recent version of Haybox, so the most recent version of Melee and Ultimate nerfs. In addition, you'll be able to select your SOCD to make sure that it's legal for whatever fighting game decides to change the legality of SOCD for the 9th time. But
Yeah,
Anaconda Squeeze has a good question. And no, actually didn't address that. So will we have instructions on how to use the Glyph? Will it ship with instructions? And I think that's a two-part question, right? Yes, it will ship with instructions.
Yeah, and yes, there will be instructions.
Yeah, I think probably it'll probably ship, because that's something we got to get down to, a packaging, pricing out, right? It'll probably ship with a pretty basic explainer, and then that will lead you to our more in-depth guides that we will write, which will be online for anyone to utilize,
which
as
will be
well as on
updated
YouTube with videos. We plan on producing a full library of how-tos for the device, similar to what we did with all the Satisfye Zen Grip and all the other things, just a little bit more in depth and it's a more complicated product. So, but 100%, we will have tons of information available for everybody.
I'd love to. Long term, this is not going to be ready for release, but I would love to like figure out a way to do like a walkthrough via the screen. Like this is something that'll take a ton of work.
Like a tutorial?
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be cool via the LCD screen on it.
So it brings you through each of the features and says this is what this is. Like
this is how you do this.
Yeah, and like it's super feasible. It's just again something that will not be at launch. Do not hold me to that. We will not be doing that for launch. But
what about a mini gameplay tutorial?
That's what I'm saying.
How to play well.
This is what I'm talking about. The screen is so cool. There's so many little things that I want to be able to do with the screen that I know that some people in the community will be doing some wacky stuff with.
If we can get Pong on it, I'm in. There's enough buttons for each player. I'm just saying.
It's a 2-button game.
Okay, that's
for anybody that didn't hear. We are integrating a screen onto the device now, onto the Glyph, so that way it gives you it changes, it makes it so much easier to understand the product and to navigate all of its features, and its features are so many. It seems like they're almost endless right now.
Yeah, I've had a few questions. I kind of just conglomerated them into one question for Matt. What are the materials used for each part of the Glyph, and why were they chosen?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so the base plate is a formed aluminum, formed and stamped aluminum that we've then precision machined to have a nice mating edge against the support panel. The support panel is currently a polycarbonate blend that we've decided for rigidity and strength, as well as to maintain flatness and stuff. The strength is super important and super critical there, because that's where you're banging the buttons, and literally the support panel is a drum, is the top of a drum that you're pushing down on. So you want it to be strong when it's sitting in this big aluminum base. So we've designed a lot of ribbing and stuff into it as well to help support it, including the material. The buttons are a PBT, the button caps are a PBT, and the expansion bays and the IO cover are also going to be the same polycarbonate blend that we're going to be using for the support panel. On top, we have the top plate with the magnets built into it. That is a sheet polycarbonate that has some different coatings on it that allow it to be very clear and very rigid, so you're not very durable, so you're not gonna be able to like take your keys and well, don't do this intentionally, because if you try very hard, yes, you can scratch it, but if you drop your keys on it lightly, it's going to be okay, whereas with a typical polycarbonate you wouldn't be able to do so.
Yeah. When I've been demoing them, it actually feels crazy. Like the thing that Matt always surprises me with everything that he makes is when I get something in my hands and he tells me, he's like, this isn't going to feel like any of the other stuff that you felt. He tells me that often, and I'm like, yeah, sure, bud. And then I get it, and I'm like, ooh, he's right. Because like what I tell people when I'm demoing it is I tell them to like put their nails across it, because like if you're not trying to scratch this thing, you can't, like, you're not scratching it unless you want to scratch it. Like it's
even the prototypes
really
are stupid durable.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And Roadhouse, that was a great question. Everybody who's already pre-ordered a Glyph, whether it was from Kickstarter or from Satisfye.com, it doesn't matter. Everyone's getting the LCD. This is a change throughout. So it's not like we're gonna have different versions of this shipping to first pre-orders and then later backers. Like we're not doing that.
Yep. Everyone gets the screen.
Yep.
It's like Oprah.
Everyone's gonna get the exact same product. So yeah. Which hot swap sockets are you using?
They're KLH.
They're KLH, yeah. Yeah, and
question.
that's actually something that we are 100% sure that we wanted to do, because we know a lot of people like trying out different key switches, and like these things are going to be thrown in backpacks. They're going to be going all over the world. We want to make sure that if one of your switches fails, it's the switch failing and not the socket, because the socket is always the much bigger problem. So
right.
we want to make sure that those sockets are as durable as humanly possible. You can switch and swap and do all kinds of nonsense. But in addition, oh yeah, there you go. That's from Crane, our PCB designer. So.
As well as many other things.
So we're optimizing based on the durability and the lifespan of the unit, which we intend to be very, very, very long. So we want to make sure that those sockets stack up. Yeah, last as long as you're going to be using it.
Yeah, Crane, that is a good point. If you are very sure that, or just very happy to solder and desolder, if you rotate the switch cap 180 degrees, or the MX switch 180 degrees, you can just solder it to the PCB and have it stuck there instead of using hot swaps. Yeah.
So even if there's a random issue where something catastrophic happens, like bad things happen, there's ways where you can the boards are meant to be repaired. They're also easily removable. There's only, what is it, 6? Yeah, we have 6 screws. 6 screws opens up the whole thing, so it's super easy. Really,
that's a great concern right there. So he wasn't really concerned about ripping off, but more about the wobble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and that's something. And that's something we're concerned about too. But very honestly, in my experience, I've been playing on this thing for like 4 months now. And I have not had an issue with any wobble, and I play old games like Vampire Savior, where you literally have to like rip your hand across the buttons as fast as you humanly can. And yeah, I've not had an issue with it almost whatsoever. Yeah,
I don't think we've had issues. So I've beaten the crap out of mine, not only from playing it, but also from shooting all the videos and constantly like pulling things out and pulling things in, pulling things out and putting things in. And I've bent some pins doing it. It's the thing's a tank, man. It really is a tank. And we even a lot of the review units that we've been sending out to YouTubers, those things get super abused. And I don't think we've had any issues with Jiggle at all.
Yeah, I think really the only complaint that we've really gotten is just a little confusing.
It's overwhelming.
Which was actually like, it was really fun getting to show the unit because we've been working on it for so long. Me and the Mats and Phil have been working on this for so long, to be able to like show our passion project to people and be like, no, like we are doing this for a reason, and we think it's really, really good. And like being able to give it to top level players like Justin Wong, like Kizzy K, like some of these players that I watch personally, like Leffen, and have them like talk about the unit and talk about how nice it feels, which like is really a huge big ups to Matt, because like, man, his mechanicals are insane. And like Crane's electrical designs have been really, really good. I'm really proud of the team, and I think that
it's a rock star team.
Yeah, I think that like once we get this into y'all's hands, like you really understand like, oh, this is something that'll go the distance.
Yeah, it's really like, I feel like this is like such a one and done controller. If you literally need, this is the only controller you need. You buy this, you are good for every game you could ever want to play now and in the future. The build quality of this thing is insane. It's it's built to last a very long time. It's built to take abuse, and it's built to customize the hell out of it. Like you could make it look like a brand new controller very easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Everything's so easy to swap out, and like everything's easy to take apart. Everything's using threaded inserts to be able to actually screw and unscrew, and you don't have to worry about ripping out the plastic when you do it. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Anaconda. Like I personally play like 10 different fighting games in addition to 3 different Smash games. Like, and I use my unit for all of it. I play old games. I play Third Strike. I play new games like Strive. Yeah, I all of the games I play, I now play on. Like, it's so fun to be able to like shill it to you guys because I just actually use it also. You know,
yeah.
Because I just believe in it.
Just like with all the Satisfye products, I made those for myself. Like at the end of the day, I made those for myself. Like I hated playing the Switch a certain way, or I hated playing a handheld, the stealth, the Steam Deck a certain way. So I made things because I wanted it to use it for myself, and I was excited for myself. And this product is the same thing. Like this was created by people who this is what they wanted. This was like their idea of the perfect box controller, and it really is. Like it's executed to perfection.
Yeah,
I think that's Crane's vision a lot there.
It's a lot of Crane's vision, yeah. Because if you go on our Kickstarter and look at the C53 is hilarious to see in person. I love that thing.
That thing looks cool. It's cool.
Yeah, it's because people look at our controller and they're like, "That's too many buttons." Like you have no idea where we came from.
It came from even more buttons.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, you can play some Elden Ring on there. You have to play around with the settings a little bit to get it the way you want to do it, but yeah.
It's possible. It's possible, especially with the expansion ports.
Yeah, I mean, there's that one girl that finished it using a DDR pad, right? Like, I think we can get there.
Yeah.
Don't jump on the Glyph. I just want to say that right now. It is not a DDR pad.
It is not a DDR pad. That's right. Crane, I have ideas for adding analog sticks via expansion packs. Yeah, could definitely make it even better for action adventure games. Yeah, it would be. It's really interesting to see what the future of this product looks like, and where we can take it, where the community takes it. Really.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get done with the main features of it because I'm really excited to start working on the wacky extra stuff.
Yep.
And doing those with community members. I'm excited to see community artwork. That's going to be so much fun.
Yep. What up, Johnny Soldier? Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about this is it's a community project from day one. This is like being built even right now with the community's feedback and with that input, and it's super helpful. And I think it's going to make for just take a killer product and make it that much better.
Oh yeah. There's so many of you. Yeah. Yeah. So the whole thing about the expansion packs is that because they have direct access to the main board, they can kind of be used for anything. But like, yeah, for analog sticks is one thing. More buttons if you want.
Yeah.
Put even more.
Or a totally different kind of button, a totally different interface of buttons.
Yeah, actually, if y'all Google it's like the Xbox adaptive. If you Google the Xbox adaptive controller, that was a big inspiration for us. Where it's similar to the Glyph. It's just it's one main unit that has a whole bunch of other stuff that plug into it. And generally, its main purpose was for differently abled people to be able to still play video games. It's actually one of the most incredible products I've ever seen produced, and it's crazy that Microsoft was the one making it, not a third party. But that was a big inspiration for us because in addition to all the stuff we've designed, Matt, your wife actually works with a lot of people that have to work with their disabilities, right?
While we wait for Matt to answer that, Anaconda asked a great question on rubberized buttons. Has that ever been a thing? Buttons with like maybe, I mean, because we could easily like coat them with, you could even do like a TPE overmolded button.
Yeah.
A keycap, I should say.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. You can kind of, again, like most of these files will be out here, so I think the sky's the limit for kind of what we can do, and if a bunch of people want them, we could totally get into that.
I don't even know what that. I wonder what I've never felt an overmolded keycap. I'm curious what that even feels like.
That would feel wild.
We might have to do that just for fun.
Yeah, I think you just have to re-enable Matt.
Oh, I might need to let him back in.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, there he is.
Hey.
Okay, he's back.
Wonderful. Yeah. So, talking about the Xbox Adaptive and just kind of like where the inspiration for some of the expansion parts came from.
Oh my gosh. The Xbox Adaptive is such a really cool controller just because it enables differently abled people to be able to play and to use actually that controller for so many different types of things. It's nuts. You can plug in different buttons, different switches. People can use eye gaze devices. People, maybe not with the adaptive controller, but they can use foot pedals. You can design any sort of switch for any part of your body and use it no matter what physical limitations you may have. And that's something that I really, really care about, allowing anybody to play games. No matter who you are or how your body works. You all deserve to be able to enjoy something that we love. And I really care about making that possible for people. So that's really the idea for me behind making a product expandable, because you can always add something in, add a button, add a switch, add a pedal or anything, and find a way to make it work for anybody who wants to use it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Johnny, you are right, man. There is so much we can do with it. It's endless.
Yeah, I was just checking messages, seeing if we got any additional.
Gatorons, Roadhouse, dropping all kinds of good questions here. Gatoron, which Gatorons come with the pre-order color-wise?
Pro Silver 3.
Yep.
Yeah, so pre-lubed, super nice. I've loved them.
Super clean.
After I got them for the Glyph, I bought it. Yeah, they sound great too. I actually bought another full set and put it into my keyboard. I liked them so much.
Yeah, I didn't think I was going to like them as much as I did. And after using them now, I'm like, I want more of them.
Yeah, no, yeah. The linear, like, the removal of the click is like it's kind of a weird thing coming from a keyboard world, but like when you're playing games with it, it feels more right because like game controllers are generally linear, so like it feels more similar to that. The feel we're going for is still kind of emulating that that arcade button feel, while retaining the longevity of a key switch and the ability for customization, right? Because if you want to do crazy clicky switches, like I'm not going to tell you not to.
And that's the beauty of the. I mean, you could throw them in.
Yeah, it's your life.
It's your life.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think we covered all the questions we had. Do we have anything else in our doc? Anything else on our agenda that we need to cover? I the things coming off the top of my head right now are 100%. We will have a live stream. I think right now we plan on doing this at least once a month, some sort of an update.
I think monthly, as long as we have something
enough content to share.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe not next month, but definitely the month after. Just also because we're going to be spending a ton of time at Genesis and all the other stuff.
Yep. We got another question here. Is the retro cable pack Kickstarter exclusive? I don't see it on the pre-order side. On the Satisfye, the retro cable pack should be available at Satisfye.com.
And if it's not, we'll fix it.
If it's not, we 100% need to
That's also
fix
something we care a lot about because getting cables like that with USB-C ends is not easy to.
No, he's right. It's not available.
Yeah, we'll fix it. Yeah, right, but so that'll be up soon. So
Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah,
good
but
catch.
yeah, no, that's something that's also really cool. Just the retro cables are so wacky. Being able to show those to people at events, because like you show them the GameCube one, they're like, yeah, that's standard. You show them the N64 one, and they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you show them the Super Nintendo one, they're like, what are you talking about?
And then you show them the
Nintendo one, and then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, the product's active. I'm not sure why it's not shown on the site. Huh.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I've had a bunch of people come from because I also play Marvel 2, and the main console used for Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is a Dreamcast. So I've had a bunch of people tell me like, "Oh, are you gonna make a Dreamcast cable?" And it's like, "Y'all can. It's a lot of work."
Yeah.
But that's the thing is that like you can, right? Like if you want to splice your own cable and you want to do the software work for it, like yeah, go ahead, man.
I found the issue.
Nice.
I had button blinks, which are not an active product right now. They were in draft mode. I added those instead of the retro cable back.
But that's actually a good thing because that's been a question that we've had a lot. Button blinks will come with every Glyph. It will be included. That way you can get it out of the box and you can remove buttons and just put in a blank and cover up any hole you want to. That is not something that you need to buy separately. If you want more of them, if you want different colors down the line, that'll be a thing. There'll also be files that'll be made available that you want to print your own.
The button blanks are dope. They're awesome. I was using Super Mario World as my test game when making the Super Nintendo code. It was super fun with a controller like this. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, one of us. So okay, our next marketing ploy. This is my next marketing campaign. Is we're all gonna stop working, and we're gonna get a world record in Super Mario using the Glyph. That's our next marketing campaign.
Oh my god!
Good idea.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take that one on, Jake.
I'm just strapped to a computer chair for 14 hours.
You can't leave until you get the record. It's a reality show.
Yeah, Super Metroid with it was actually be good. I've been playing Dead Cells with it, and I love playing Dead Cells.
I bet that's great.
It's so dope. Yeah.
Any of the 2D platformers.
2D play, it's so amazing on indie games. Like it's dope.
Hell yeah, that's fun. I didn't know you were playing. I didn't know you were playing Dead Cells on that. That's super sick.
That's actually where the Glyph has gotten most of my use is on 2D platformers.
Sick.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I should. Yeah. I think Celeste is the other one that people.
Celeste. Yep. That one's huge.
They're really excited to use it for.
Yes. It actually does play really Celeste.
Where can I read about the screen? I didn't know that a screen would be included. And then which layout do you use?
There is an update that we put on the Kickstarter page, but we.
I can let me throw that in the chat real quick. Are you?
Yeah, I can grab it. I'm already there.
Okay, and then layout. This is my layout, like almost 24/7. I like the split fighter layout, or FGC. This is what I'm in almost all day long.
Yeah, and then I'm actually.
It's that or modified full.
Yeah, I'm one of the people who uses the full layout because for different games I actually use fully different layouts. Because for Smash I use the Smash layout. Then actually for some fighting games I use the traditional hitbox. Like I'll use that for the older Guilty Gears and some of the older Air Dashers that don't use as many macros. I'll use the traditional FGC. And then for some of the newer games like Strive and Street Fighter 6, I'll use the standard split FGC because there's a few more macros and some other stuff. But yeah, I use all of the modes interchangeably across the games I play. So I really love having access to all of them at the same time.
I'm in the exact same boat as Jake. I'm stuck in the full layout, and I'm never gonna leave. It is just too much fun, and there's too many options. I love.
Also, when you sit down at a tournament set and you pull out your thing with a lot of buttons, your opponent gets scared. And that means that you have an advantage. Well, so the nice thing about
it's actually pretty hard to fat finger them.
Yeah, but additionally, the nice thing about the fat fingering problem is that the buttons aren't set to anything. So even if you fat finger them, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long
That's
as you don't
true.
have
That's true. Yeah, that's a really good point. They're not. So do you want to show it? Oh, yours isn't plugged in, is it?
So you can do it.
Once you are whatever layout you're in, all your buttons, the LEDs on your buttons will be lit, and everything else is just dead. So whether you fat finger or not, it doesn't matter. It's not going to do anything unless you program that button.
And if you don't like feeling a button that you actually don't have anything set to, you can also just put in those button blanks, and it'll just feel like you're pressing on the. Jake has one set in there right now.
Instance, I have here. I can actually do a zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. So that
do it slightly at an angle, Jake.
That way you can
yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that's the way I play the full layout as well. I'll put the button blanks on just the surrounding buttons that I don't want to feel at all, and that totally fixes that problem.
Yeah, because I don't like the WASD. I know a lot of people do, but whatever.
To each his
but
own.
That's the thing. Yeah, to each their own, and that's the whole point of it is that like all of us like our units because we've made it our own. Like Matt has his wacky WASD buttons that he
like that. They're so much fun.
That's another thing Matt's been prototyping.
Yeah, just messing around with different ways to press buttons. Like I like WASD, but I like being able to. I want to be able to access. I don't know. This isn't a typical WASD layout because up is down is lower than the rest of the three buttons instead of up being above them. So I wanted to find a way that you could always hit left and right while you're hitting up or down. So I was able to elongate L and R basically.
Yeah.
So you always have access to every button.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. And surprisingly, there isn't there's so little wobble on the Gateron Pro Silver 3s that even having such a long extension on those switches, it doesn't bottom out. Nothing happens. It's great.
Yeah. Even the and to answer Blazin and Kay's comment, yes, the full layout. Like if you just want to get into this, best bang for your buck, come in with the full layout. You can literally do everything you want with it. The button blanks, and we include enough button blanks in that set to you can basically, I don't want to say virtual because that's not the right word, but you can create every layout using button blanks with the full layout.
Yeah.
It's just not going to have that like super clean look. If you want this like really clean look and you really want to show off the art or whatever, then you're not going to have that. But, totally have the full flexibility.
Yeah. But my camera ran out of battery again. It's been very cold here, so battery lives have been dying a little bit. I was telling the guys negative 14 degrees in Wisconsin. So. So there's not currently a target release date. Initially we were looking at like late April, but that was before the screen. It was before some of the testing stuff that we had to do. The screen
definitely pushed us back. The Chinese New Year pushes us back.
But we're going to keep you guys up to date once we have firm dates on anything. When we're going to start getting those is after certification and once tooling has begun. There's going to be, like when we're running tooling, there's going to be revisions on it after the first tool is cut. You want to fine tune them to get them to be more accurate, better and better. But we'll keep you up to date as like the deadline's the release date is gonna become narrower and narrower the further we go, and we'll keep you up to date with that.
Yeah, 100%. And the product when it there's no reason it shouldn't come out 2024 all day long. Like
ideally we're still shooting for like, and this is again, everything goes perfectly, nothing goes wacky, it will, but like in a hyper ideal world, it's like late Q2 ideally. But we can't speak to anything, especially when we don't have tooling and we don't have certification, because both of those, if anything goes wrong in those steps, those can both cause heavy delays just because of because of the structure.
You will have you'll have a product this year and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We will have tested the hell out of it. It will be refined to perfection.
Yeah. Jake, I wouldn't even say goes wrong during those steps, because
I
it's
guess, yeah.
kind of planned. Like, you anticipate having to do a revision on a tool. You anticipate having to make a change for certification or anything. That's
I mean,
the point of having those.
To wrap it back around, if everything goes perfectly, then we can get it out quickly. But if everything goes to plan, it'll absolutely this year for sure.
No matter what. There's no reason that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Unless China invades Taiwan or something, I think we'll be okay.
Don't speak that into.
There'll be a lot more trouble than the Glyph, though, not coming out. So, but no, there's no reason 2024 is a date we can't make.
Yeah.
They really want to, too, is the problem.
I know.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I'm just like, after like COVID stuff happened, because I was working with Greg when he got affected by the Suez Canal stuff.
Oh geez.
Yeah,
like
that was a really big pain in the butt.
Part of his delays were that like everyone from Ford to like your local electronics shop got affected by that kind of stuff. Like,
and there's always crazy random things that come out. We were fulfilling pre-orders out of Hong Kong when COVID finally hit Hong Kong, and that decimated our timeline. You know, it put us. I mean, it still came out like 2 months later, but you know, people had been waiting a while for their pre-orders, so that extra 2 months hurt. But those usually delays like that, those unforeseen events, it really, at the end of the day, it adds another 30 days. It adds another 60 days. It's not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world, but everyone will be kept up to date with exactly what's going on, and we're pretty confident we're very confident in the designs. So now we're just getting into manufacturing stuff. So,
and that's dope. Roadhouse is he's all in.
All right.
And Johnny said the Glyph Retro Pack is now up and available on the website.
Sweet.
Do we have anything else? Assuming no more questions come in, this is probably a good spot to close. We are Jake and myself will be at multiple events this year. I think we have we have planned 5 events this year, I believe. And some more of the Limit Labs team will be there as well. On some of those, we just don't know which ones, but for sure, Jake and I will be there. So there will be an opportunity for people who are going to those to come, and we'll have a booth. You'll be able to sit down, play with the prototypes, check them out. And actually, to be honest, for a lot of them, some of the events will have, those will be in production samples by then, or even production, like they'll have already shipped.
Yeah, for the later ones in the year, it's entirely possible that we have physical product to sell you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it up?
No,
you might have to refresh your page, Roadhouse.
Yeah. Yep, there we go. Johnny sent the link.
Nice.
Sweet. Thanks, Johnny.
So we got that coming up. We will continue to plug away tirelessly as we bring this project to an end and this product to life. And we'll keep you guys updated the whole time along the way as well. Every time we've got a nice chunk of information to share with you guys, we'll run these live events, get your feedback on them. It's great. And if we can do anything else, you can join us in our Discord, Satisfye Gaming Discord, Limit Labs Discord.
Let's post
follow us on socials at Satisfye Gaming, at Limit Labs.
Phil, if you want to post the link to your Discord in the chat, I'll post the Limit Labs one.
Johnny, will you post the link to the Discord? Because I don't know what the hell it is.
Yeah, so here's that should be the
Thank
Limit
you,
Labs
Johnny.
one, and then the second one, it should be the Satisfye one.
There you go.
Yeah, and so for everybody who came in late, this will be going, I'll upload the entire stream tomorrow on YouTube at Satisfye Gaming, and we'll start to piece it up in chunks as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
It was cool hanging out.
No, this was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. This was great. Really good first run. I'm glad we figured it all out. So yay.
330 plus guys try to figure out streaming. The story of the
I
story
haven't
of
done it in a long time, so I was rushed.
An hour and a half ago.
Oh man. But we got it going. It actually worked out really well. Roadhouse and everybody, we really appreciate the questions.
My fiance appreciates me talking to someone else about this.
Yeah. That's true. Our significant others tend to get very annoyed.
They're like, "Yeah, I got it." Like, there's so many buttons. I understand.
Yeah, that's nice cool. Okay. Just go sell some.
Your O-rings are great. It's like, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, let's end it here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to flop over to the other screen. Limit Labs team, thank you for joining us. You guys were awesome. And we will see you guys in the next live stream. So don't forget to follow us at Satisfye Gaming on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever. And right here on Twitch, because we will be streaming them all on Twitch. So yeah, we will see you guys in the next video.